Welcome to day 4 of the Power of You Telesummit. We are so excited for the women that we have here today, really to speak into you and to give you great insight into why they do what they do and how it can inspire and encourage you. Let's get started right away. Betty, tell us what you do and what inspired you to start doing it.
Okay, thanks, Teresa, and thank you for this opportunity. I am an abuse survivors coach, and I work with women who are survivors of domestic abuse, primarily emotional abuse. And what inspired me to do that is the fact that I myself am a survivor of domestic abuse, and it was almost totally emotional abuse. And I did not even realize what I had been through could be considered emotional abuse or domestic abuse until a friend of mine pointed that out to me. And I thought, gee, if I didn't know what was going on, I wonder how many other women are out there who are experiencing emotional abuse, maybe financial abuse, maybe sexual abuse in a relationship. And they don't equate that with domestic abuse because we normally think of it like the media presents it as domestic violence. And I always thought, if he wasn't hitting me or physically abusing me, it didn't amount to abuse. So that's basically where my passion is educating the wider community about all aspects of domestic abuse and working with women who have gone through similar experiences as I have.
And I know you put the book out last year, so tell us about the book.
Okay, my book is, the title of it is Finding God in the Lemonade. And it's around an experience I had through my divorce and everything. I was under a great deal of stress and ended up in the hospital with a perforated colon, which most of the doctors that were working with me attributed to the amount of stress I was under. And it's just my experience of, for a while, questioning God, questioning my faith, questioning what happened to me and why me. And then I suddenly asked, why not me? Why would I be so special that this wouldn't have happened to me? And so during my recovery, God and I had a lot of private conversations, as a lot of people do during times like that. And I said, you saved my life for a reason, and I'm going to ask you to show me what that reason is. And I think I found it in working with other women, but it's primarily a guide for women who have gone through domestic abuse, talking about the different kinds of abuse, how to recognize abuse when it's happening to you, safeguards you can put in place, and the red flags that we see in a relationship that often we ignore.
So true. So true. So, Rachel, tell us about you and what you do and why you do it.
Well, far as business-wise, I started a nonprofit 501c3 spiritual religious organization back in 2005, DBL Inc., and it stands for Disciples of the Blood of the Lamb Outreach Ministry. And I started that because I wanted to reach out and to the Christian community or whoever, because a lot of things I learned when I became a Christian, which I got into Christianity kind of late, like in my 30s, when I turned 30. So I joined a discipleship course through my church, and God gave me a revelation, or I was inspired to start this outreach ministry. And I began to do it kind of on my own. And then I finally got it incorporated into a 501c in 2005. But I was actually doing it on a small level just because I was a nurse. I was a licensed practical nurse at the time working, and I was working with pediatrics, geriatrics, and et cetera, because I did a lot of contract work. Mm-hmm. And I would get assignments to go back and have speeches or motivational speeches with my clients through the activities department. And a lot of times I was doing it even before I even got the vision for the corporate, because I believe God wanted me to make it a business in corporation so I can be more mobilized with it as I grew and became more savvy in business, because I was always taking some kind of business course, but my main thing that I always wanted to do was to speak. And it's always motivational. I want to motivate people, inspire people, especially I like solving problems, but I can't really solve them, but I can encourage and inspire. And so God gave me this vision, and I do it all the time on a small level right now, but I believe it's going to become more and more, because I got certified as a coach and a teacher and speaker through John Maxwell team. So I'm actually developing myself on a higher level, because you have to add value to yourself and keep
Right.
you going, and then you can add more value to your whole environment. So I believe God wanted me to do this, and I did it, and I put all my money and my time in getting it set up, and I wasn't in a rush. I was patient about it, and seemed like everything is coming together because I'm connecting with a lot of people, and I just want to help people, because my heart really goes out to orphans and developmentally delayed children, and just people that are hurting for whatever the reason. I have a life story, but it's like it never happened. It's like a book on a
Right.
shelf, and it's like I'm just trying to save everybody else through my inspiration and encouragement, and God is setting it up where I can do that.
I think that's so true. I think the stories and the things that we go through, our trials and tribulations, are actually preparing us to be the inspiration, the help, and the encouragement to another through either writing our story, sharing our story, speaking our truth, whatever it may be, wherever God leads your heart. I believe that that's what we're put here for. Cami, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good. Tell us about you and what you do. You have such an exciting thing, so I know it's going to be inspirational.
I own a theater company. That's my main objective there. I own a theater company, and it's also an entertainment company that provides entertainment for events and birthday parties, things like that. I've expanded into different realms with my theater company, so we're not just like a regular theater company doing just a season of shows. So we do a lot for the community. We do a lot of fundraisers, and we also provide with our main stage performances. We always give a portion of our net proceeds to a local nonprofit organization that's doing something good within the community, something usually for women.
That's so exciting. That's exciting because, as always, as we prosper, as we move in our businesses, our give backs are very important because they kind of speak to where we came from, who we are as a person, and what we want to see in our own communities. So each of us has a give back. I know that we do. My personal one is I volunteer with CASA, and then we also donate every year to the women's shelters. And so I really think that it's important that as we promote our businesses and as we move forward in our business life, that we remember those who are less fortunate and that we are always reaching back and giving a hand up in order to inspire and encourage the next generation to do the same.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I started a 501c3 called In Motion Foundation. My company is called In Motion Theater Company, and my foundation works alongside to provide that ability for my company to be able to give back to the community.
I think that's so
that's,
important. So let's go around, ladies,
yes,
and let's get some tips as to when you got started, if you got discouraged. What would you speak into another entrepreneur if they're just starting out? Betty, you go first. Tell us what you would tell another woman who's just starting her business and maybe has hit some roadblocks.
Persevere. Don't ever give up. I can't tell you how many roadblocks, setbacks, bumps in the road, speed bumps, obstacles, but I always went back to my passion. I always went back to my core beliefs and what I wanted to accomplish. And maybe I had to take a step back. Maybe I had to have some breathing room. Maybe I needed some time just to contemplate a little bit, but I didn't ever give up. I kept right on plowing through and basically never said no to myself.
Great tips. Rachel, you tell us something you would tell a woman who's maybe hit a roadblock or even a fork in the road where she's not sure about what to do next. What would you say to her to encourage and inspire her?
Did you say Rachel?
Yes.
Oh, well, I would say, don't worry about it and don't get too stressed, but gather all the information that you can and network and find out where the information is for what you're wanting to do and go to those seminars and, places, a lot of churches and other places. I think United Way and the library. Just even if you're not doing anything, always gather information. So when you are ready, because you will be ready as long as that vision is in you, you'll have what you need to do to go ahead and do it.
I think that's a great tip. If you're not ready to move forward, but you have your vision and your dream, research. Connect with people who are doing what you want to do, who are where you want to be, and just listen to them. I think, one of the greatest tips I ever got was from my grandparents, and it was like, you got 2 ears for a reason and one mouth, because you should be listening twice as much as you are speaking so that you can learn. And so I think that's a great tip. Use your local library, reach out, because you may not always have monetary resources, but there's a lot that you can do with limited resources if you'll just plug into your community. Cami, tell us what you would tell a woman. And I know you've had some obstacles, so you can speak from experience. Tell us what you would tell a woman.
Oh, yeah, I've had a lot of setbacks, but I would say that obstacles are opportunities to step into your greatness. So don't lose sight of who you are and what you're capable of. Keep manifesting, keep dreaming, and keep persevering. Don't let an obstacle be an obstacle. Make it into something exciting and challenging, and make it into an opportunity to step into greatness.
I think that's great because, a lot of times we think those detours and those obstacles, those, things that get in our way, slow us down, maybe take us away we hadn't planned to go. We think those are like the dead end sign, the end of the journey. We're not, and sometimes they are just a part of the journey. They are just something we're going to go through, overcome, and it's going to use us, it's going to be used for our greatness. It's going to really step us up in our game. It's going to make us persevere. Sometimes it's going to connect us to that person who can help take us to the next level. Because if you easily give up on your dream, you're going to regret that the rest of your life. When you get to the end of your journey, you don't want to have regrets about the road you didn't try, the things you didn't do. Those are not the things that you want to be reflecting on at the senior citizen home about all things you didn't do. You want to live a full life. You want to give it your all and chase your dreams forever. I mean, you're never too old to start over. I mean, I didn't start till 40, so come on. My kids were grown. And I'm going to tell y'all now that my grandkids live at home, hats off to you mom entrepreneurs, because I do not know how y'all do it. I'm just going to let y'all know I have no idea how y'all do it with children in the home, because it was a struggle for me, just me and my husband in this house. Now with these 4 kids in here, I'm like, oh my Lord, how do y'all get as much done? I mean, how do y'all get all the laundry done? Because these 4 kids got a lot of laundry. I mean, I'm hats off to y'all. If y'all got kids at home and y'all are running your business, kudos, because I don't know. I mean, there are days when I'm like, is this shirt dirty? Is this clean? I mean, because we have a newborn in the house. And so those days and nights are all mixed up together. But I watch y'all, and I'm going to tell y'all are held in high esteem, because I just don't know how there's enough hours in the day. And then y'all look all put together. I barely can match my clothes at this moment. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I'm on sleep deprivation with that newborn. My daughter and I are taking turns with her because she has a 2-year-old too. And I'm just like, y'all look all put together to go to the Walmart. I'm hoping I don't run into anybody at the Walmart. I'm just telling y'all the truth. I'm being transparent. I'm hoping I don't see nobody I know when I go out this house, because I don't even know if I match. The other day we left here to go to church and my shoes weren't the same. I mean, just being honest, we had to stop by the store. I had to buy a pair of slip-on shoes. I'm just saying, I'm going to be transparent in that moment. I do not know how y'all do it with children at home, because it's very stressful. So, Betty, tell us where they can get your book, where they can. Oh, Kim, you raised your hand. Did you want to speak? Come right in.
Well, I just wanted to introduce myself. So I'm Kim. I'm in Atlantic, Canada, and all of the inspirational sharing that you've already just done with all these wonderful ladies really spoke through me and to me about where I'm going in my business and what's happening there as well. So I was lucky to have met you, Teresa, on this last book, and being able to share part of my story there. And
Yes.
yeah, and so I just wanted to kind of introduce myself a little bit,
Yeah, tell
if
us
that's
about
okay.
Tell us, Kim, I'm so sorry because I had you muted for some reason. Tell us about your
That's okay.
business and what you do.
Well, my business is called Solely Reconnected, and basically what I do, I'm a relaxation therapist. I'm also a natural healthcare consultant, and I hold sacred space for people who are going through transitions. So we've just recently moved from Ontario down to Nova Scotia in Canada. And so when I was in Ontario, I was actually working with a lot of oncology patients, working with the hospice, going into hospitals and doing workshops and trainings and different certifications with different companies and groups, whether it's mental health, whether it was women's shelters, things like that, to be able to give them coping skills and different mechanisms to be able to, heal the experiences that they've had. So I have been very, very blessed and privileged to be able to share that time and space with families, with women, with caretakers and caregivers of all of those businesses and opportunities that are there for healing to take place. So that's part of what I do, whether it be art, movement, meditation, just talk therapy, and listening to what people have going on. And part of that journey is because I did not feel like I had been heard, or that I was trying to prove myself in this world all along. My story is not the same as most of the women. I've lived actually a very probably privileged life to this point, and been very, very blessed. So I thank each of you for sharing your stories, because we absolutely need to get this heard and seen and brought out into the world for sure. So thank you.
I thank you because, my first dealing with hospice was my mother-in-law passed away, and she wasn't even actually my mother-in-law yet. Well, she was before it was over with. My husband and I married while she was in the nursing home. But she was a very vibrant woman, and she took a tumble one day in her apartment, and she just never recovered from it. She was in her 80s, and from the tumble, she slipped into dementia, which is a very hard thing to deal with.
Absolutely.
And I was honored. I took care of her every day. I went to the nursing home every day, but there were a lot of people who that wasn't possible. But for me, the hospice and the caretakers there who take care of the caretakers, because that's where it gets, you're
Absolutely
giving 24/7. I mean, I describe it as being on adrenaline for 90 days because that's how long she stayed.
Absolutely.
And every moment you were just waiting for something to happen because you knew, they tell you she doesn't have long. We don't know how long. And so every phone call, every time they text you, you're waiting for it to be that call, and you want to be there as much as possible, but it's not humanly possible to stay in that much stress for that long without it affecting your health. And so when hospice came in, for me, it was a relief because it was someone to cry with. It was someone who understood what I was going through. It was someone to just sit there while I vented because I was the only one there. And I was the girlfriend of her son at the time. She had daughter-in-laws that she had had for 40, 50 years who weren't there. She had children who weren't there. And so, you get stuck in that moment, and there's someone who confidentially you can cry to, you can tell to, and they've been there either personally or they walked other people through it, so they can offer you literature, they can offer you help, can offer you meditation, they can offer you just sitting there holding your hand while you sob, whatever it is you need. And they're not only there during that time, they were there after she passed, because
Absolutely.
I thought that was going to be the hardest moment when she passed, but I was so wrong, because the hardest moment was the next 4 to 5 weeks when I didn't have anywhere to go anymore. I wasn't needed at the nursing homes. Therefore, I was just left to my own devices. But they were there then too. They reached out, they called, they came, took me to lunch. They were interactive in the planning of her. They came to the funeral, that kind of things. And so for me, it was like you had a friend, someone who had been there and knew all those
Absolutely.
things. So my hat's off to hospice, because it was hard for me with my mother-in-law, and I couldn't imagine that being your give back, because that's a lot of emotion to take on someone else. That's a lot.
It absolutely is. Absolutely. And I feel so honored to be in that space at that time. And sometimes it's not just during the transition from life to death. It's women who have made those critical changes in their life to leave that relationship or that abusive situation, and they are looking for someone just to hear them for the first time, or it might be the children of those women. I go in and do art therapy sessions, and I do a technique called spirit painting, and we call in all of our helpers and our divine beings, and we put paint to paper, and we let the emotion and the feeling express itself on a paper, and you can see them kind of in my office behind me. And I had this little boy who was staying at one of the women's shelter. He was the only one that was there that day, and his mom had been participating in the workshop, so we were doing a group session at the end of the day, and I said, would you like to participate? And he was like, yeah, fantastic. And this little boy picked almost every color off that palette, and he started swirling it, and it was going this mucky brown color, and the mom was freaking out because she was like, oh my God, you're going to ruin the painting. And I was like, no, Mom, just relax. Just step back for a second and breathe and let him express what needs to be expressed. And this little boy did his thing, and you could tell that he was getting out all that energy that was stuck inside. And we did the process, and we opened it up, and I said, Mom, you're not even going to see that brown muddy spot when we're done with this. And the painting turned out to be beautiful flowers and butterflies and fairies and all kinds of warm and wonderful things, and she was so excited. And the whole process of what I do is so that it can be expressed in whatever way it needs to be expressed. Some of us express it in those words when we write those books, but others need it to come out in different forms. So it comes out in theater, it comes out in dance, it comes out in music, it comes out in art, it comes out all those other ways that we suppress ourselves and tell us that, well, you're an adult, you're not supposed to be playing through this life.
Yeah.
I call crap on that. That's we need to play more.
Yeah, we need
get
to
way
tap into that
caught
inner
up in the
child a little
seriousness
more.
of life.
So
Absolutely.
and then, Betty, tell us how they can get a hold of you.
Okay, the easiest thing to do right now, my website is being redesigned to accommodate my coaching business and everything. But the easiest way would be to send me an email at betty@thewaytoempowerment.com.
Awesome.
Okay, and are you on social media?
I am. I'm on Facebook. I have a personal Facebook page, Betty Taylor. And then I also have a business page, which is The Way to Empowerment, Empowerment Coach.
Okay. Rachel, tell us how we can reach you.
Well, you could reach me at my personal email, rachelleewhite@yahoo.com. And you can also reach me at www.disciplesoftheblood.org. And I do have a personal Facebook page, and I have a I guess it's a business page. It's more like I got it for an author's page because I did write a book
Yeah.
in 2015. And that page is called What's Love Got to Do with It? Answer, God is Love.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Jamie, tell us how we can reach you.
The best way to reach me is Facebook, Cami E. Ferry, or through my business Facebook page, In Motion Theater with an R-E. You can also email me at Cami Ferry, that's CAMIFERRY, @live, LIVE.com. And my website is www.inmotiontheater.org.
All right. Kim, tell us how we can reach you.
So the easiest way to reach me would be on Facebook. So I do have a personal page there. It's Kimberly Hutt. Or you can reach me on my business page, which is Souly, SOULY, Reconnected, on Facebook. And you can also email me at soulyreconnected@gmail.com. And you can find me on the Amazon authors page as well. So the books that I've been included in are also on there as well. So
sounds good. Ladies, thank each of you for being here tonight. It's been enlightening. It's been inspiring. I know that others will be encouraged by it. I thank you for being a part of the Telesummit. And I will be sending you information because we are putting an article together for the magazine. So I'll be sending you information on how to contribute your part to that. And I thank you again, everybody, for being here. Y'all have a great night. And we look forward to wrapping up the Telesummit tomorrow with 2 special shows. So you have a bonus one tomorrow. Thank y'all so much, and y'all have a blessed night.
You too.
awesome. Thank you, Teresa.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thanks, Teresa.
Hi, everyone. Kim, Betty, Teresa.
Nice to meet everyone.
Nice meeting all y'all on the summit. So y'all have a blessed night.